Hey guys, Aaron here, more 4x4. I'm here with my pal Jason from Deluxe Detailing, and we work with Jason a few different ways, whether it's doing post-build cleanups or ceramic coating. And I'm really grateful that Jace was open to us filming with him. And we've been working together for a few years, but lately we've been ramping up the ceramic coating stuff.
We've taken on ceramic coatings now for about sort of 7 to 8 years. We're in about 7th or 8th years now, and it's good. We see a lot of companies that do builds like yours that are looking to do ceramic coatings now because the investment is quite expensive in what they build, so why not protect it still?
What's your biggest struggle in business today? Your biggest challenge?
Probably the biggest challenge is staff.
Yep.
I mean, we have a lot of work coming in and finding the right staff, because we like to have the right staff. We can have any staff all the time, but we've got to have those people who are committed, have an eye for detail, have a passion for cars and a passion for a finished product, which is, I think, the really important thing, because when you hand the car back to a customer, you have to have all those things to achieve that result, to give it back to the customer. So
what would you say as a percentage or your intuition about do you do more four-wheel drive vehicles or exotics, or what? Tell me about that.
Well, that's probably a good question actually, because initially we probably did a lot of more exotics and more sedans and smaller cars, but now I'd say we probably do a majority of SUVs, off-road vehicles, because they're kind of the chosen vehicle, I think, by people these days. Whether you have a Nissan Patrol or a Ford Ranger that has 4 doors and a ute back, people are using those now. Trades guys are probably much using them more as a family vehicle, whereas before they were more like just a trade truck. So, but I guess now off-road vehicles we do a lot of. We probably have at least one in a day, to be honest.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's very rare that we don't have something. As you can see over there now, we've got a 200 series and we've got a Patrol, and out the back there's another Land Cruiser.
And do you have a favourite type of vehicle that you like working on?
Not really, to be honest. I guess what we like working on is cars that need more doing to them. If there's a car comes in that's like a barn find, like we have in the workshop a lot of the time, where it's been sitting in somewhere for a long time and it's not in great condition, we like to get those cars. It's more satisfying to get those cars and turn them into something amazing, because that's what we're about. We're about the finished product, and seeing the customers' faces, they leave the door and they're happy with or amazed at what we've done to their car, which they didn't think was achievable.
Even on a brand new vehicle, some of the problems that you might see with a brand new paint finishes, and then the result after.
Well, you'd see that as well. You do a lot of new vehicles you have in your workshop, so you'd see them and you'd be able to identify that they're not essentially brand new vehicles. You get a car that is new. These days paints aren't that great. They're water-based. They don't have a lot of strength in them, not a lot of thickness in them like they used to in older cars. So therefore, if you get a situation where a car doesn't have any polish or coating on it, you might find that a bird dropping can simply fall on the car, and if left there for a couple of days, that bird dropping can start to mark the clear coat on the car. And sometimes, because the coatings or the paint is so thin, it's almost unachievable to get that mark out. Really? So whereas a ceramic coating is much harder than the paint surface, so with the ceramic coating, if the bird dropping falls on the ceramic coating, then it just doesn't sort of eat into the paintwork. Your paintwork stays fresh. Your coating protects the paintwork, and then you can just remove the bird dropping and everything's fine. No real harsh work needs to be done to it.
So if ceramic coating does give some extra value and longevity and robustness, does it also help with maintenance on the vehicle? Is there a benefit there?
There is a benefit, as ceramic coated cars will generally be easier to clean. They deflect dust. They have a hydrophobic effect, so they deflect the dust. They stay cleaner longer. They are easier to clean. If you use a snow foam to wash it and then simply dry it with an air dryer, then you have a contactless sort of wash to the car. So that way you sort of reduce a lot of scratching that'll be on the car. And it's a tricky question. There's a lot of ceramic coatings out there in the market. There's very cheaper ones that'll go for 6 to 12 months. And there's ones people will say 7+ years. I would say 7+ years on the coating we use, which is Ceramic Pro. I'd say if maintained correctly, you probably get 5 to 7 years out of it, being honest. I've had a car that is 7 years and we've got it back. And it's the one that I've seen the longest. It's one of the ones we did first off. But that car is garaged and very rarely driven. Outside at a car that's daily driven, left outside, probably 4 to 5 years. Ceramic coating over PPF is probably a really good idea. The last couple of cars we've done with PPF, we've actually ceramic coated as well. They've only been front end wraps because they're not a 4-wheel drive vehicle. They're more like a car which is going to go onto a track. One was a GT3, one was an M2 BMW, and then we ceramic coat the whole car, including the PPF. And that way it just gets an even consistency over it of protection. Because although the PPF is there to protect the paint really against chips and scratches, etc., it's also got to, if you want it to look good all the time, you're better off doing a ceramic coat over the top of it. So.
Pancho's going to spend some time with you and work through the different processes that you go to do a ceramic coat.
Yep. We will get the cars, we'll put them in the wash bay, and then we use a snow foam. What the snow foam does, snow foam potentially takes off all any polish, any grime, any gunk. You let it sit there for 5 to 10 minutes before you remove the snow foam and you pressure clean it off. And that way it becomes a contactless clean. So you haven't wiped a chamois over it, if the car was potentially really muddy and dirty, you might use like a microfiber mitt to wash over and take that dirt and mud and crap off the car. So from there, after that it's a drying process, and we use a blow dryer to blow dry the car. It's a big boy, hand dryer that we use. We dry the car, it dries all the water out from inside light panels and panel gaps, etc., stuff like that, so that what you do is you get a dry car, because once we start working on the car with the coatings and with buffing, you don't want to potentially get water that's going to run out and interfere with that, because it'll just wreck the process. So we'll go over the car, probably just give it a light glaze over, which will get those light swirl marks, any sticker glue that could be around the car, because the cars get transported with a white sticker all over them. What you want is a fresh clean coating or surface to put the ceramic coating on. So when we put the ceramic coating on, it's going to adhere to a clean, fresh surface that, and then potentially protect the car. So.
I've just been schooled by the team. Jason's going to tell you more about that. But Ben's patrol has stage 1 ceramic completed, but we actually made a bit of a blue in our project management, and Jason's going to tell us why.
We've actually done a full coating on the car. We've done a lot of preparation, and we get it fully coated. We've coated the paintwork, we've coated the wheels, we've coated sort of everything on the car except for chrome parts. But now I've learnt that there's also going to be some front and rear bars put on the car, which will probably be either painted, body coloured or powder coated. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the car back when it's done, and we'll be recoating those bars so that everything is actually coated and protected on the outside of the car. And also after that, we'll probably just give the car almost like a mini detail and clean it over, because after it goes through the workshop, it gets a lot of maybe fingerprints and footprints through it. So we'll give the car like a going over, so it's delivered in a brand new sort of state, which is what it probably should be. So
yeah, and there's some good learning here for us. And maybe we didn't get the project flow right, but Jason set us straight, and I appreciate you sharing, because it adds value for you effectively. And Ben, this is your vehicles.
Yeah.
And this is Zach, by the way. Say hi, Zach.
Hey, how you going?
What do you do here, Zach?
I'm a workshop manager.
Yep.
Yeah, I do a lot of the paint corrections and old resto jobs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
we do a lot of resto work here, and Zach pretty much takes on a lot of the resto stuff. So a lot of stuff where it's old school, chrome, paint, etc., stuff like that. All the finicky, fidgety stuff. So Zach gets really involved in that and gets into it. So.
And is that your GTS project?
It's not my car, but it's my project. But
yeah.
I wish it was my car.
That is so amazing. Pancho's going to insert some B-roll, because that thing is amazing, truly. Thank you, Tim.
No, thank you.
I appreciate you guys.